We're finally going to get some rounds through this Ruger M77 here. And for those of you that saw the video last week, got to see what the inside of this bore looks like. We got our work cut out for us on this project, and I might have to revise my expectations after seeing that. I would have been disappointed if we hadn't have got 3/4 of an MOA out of this rifle. After seeing this bore, I'm going to be impressed if we get sub MOA. So let's get some shots through here and see what we've got. And I just bore sighted it, so first shot's just going to be to see if we can hit paper. All right, we hit paper, and that is an absolute hair trigger on this thing. That's about what I would have expected with Stephen. Wasn't bad for bore sighting. Okay, I can't see much through the scope, but those last two shots look pretty decent. Okay, those last two shots, that was way better than anything I thought we'd ever see from this rifle after we saw what the bore looked like with the bore scope. Hopefully that's a sign of things to come, and we're about to find out. Okay, for the ammo for this rifle, I'm using Federal Premium Gold Medal Match with the Sierra 168 grain Match King bullets. I've always gotten great results with Sierra bullets. They just tend to shoot. And if you find a rifle that won't shoot Sierras, try a Spear. For some reason, they seem to shoot in rifles that won't shoot in anything else, but Sierras seem to shoot in almost anything. And if you can't get either one of those to shoot, that's not good. All right, so yeah, I'm really impressed with what we're seeing. And I wanted to go with factory ammo for this rifle because Stephen doesn't reload. So I thought, well, let's just try some factory ammo through here. And he's going to mostly be doing target shooting. So, okay, let's do the Federal Premiums and see what we get. And it seems to be liking them, at least, you know, for two shots. And that first one, that was just me not expecting this hair trigger. I'm going to say it's right at a pound, maybe half a pound. I mean, I was surprised. All right, so we're going to do some more shooting now, see what other kind of groups we get. I did want to give the barrel a moment to cool off. The barrel's not hot. I couldn't feel any heat in it at all, which heavy varmint barrel, I wouldn't expect it to be after 3 shots. But in my experience, yeah, the heavy barrels take longer to heat up. But they also seem to take a lot longer to cool off once they do heat up. All right. And I know they've got more surface area and should cool quicker, but I guess just because of the mass of the barrel. Once they heat up, it generally takes them a while. So I just don't want this one to warm up to start with. And as far as the scope, not my rifle. This is a Bushnell 6x24x50 AOEG. Okay, I'm not impressed. I've got it on 24 power right now. With 24 power, with target at 100 yards, I should be able to read the very fine print at the bottom of the target where it says made in the USA. It looks like a 10 power scope to me looking through it, just looking at the target. And plus it's got coarse crosshairs, and I do not like coarse crosshairs, especially on a target scope. But anyway, that's just me. Hey, we got 2 good shots. We're going to fire some more now and see what else we can do with this rifle. Hopefully it keeps going in this direction. All right, let's go see what we got, because honestly, I can't really tell from this scope. A 24 power scope, and I can't really tell. At 100 yards, But it sure did look good from what little bit I could see. Okay, I'm still not sure I believe it. I'm gonna have to check the video on that, but it appears we've got one really small hole there. And a lot of this is just paper torn. If I'd had cardboard backing on here, I'm guessing it'd be one really small hole. So either one or two of those shots and missed everything, or it shot pretty good there. So let's run another 3 rounds through here and see what we got. And if it does this again, I'm gonna say mission accomplished. Before I go getting too excited, let's try this one more time. One more 3-shot group, see what we got and go from there. Okay, that last group was not as good, but with this scope, I'm amazed I got that. I don't think there's any point right now with this scope to just keep shooting. We saw what we needed to see. And I'm gonna grab the target real quick and meet y'all back at the shop because it's cold and it's wet and it's damp out here. I'm gonna get in and out of the weather. We're gonna talk about where we're going next with this project. I bet none of you that saw what the inside of this board looked like in that last video expected this rifle to shoot like that. Hey, I know I sure didn't. Just, hey, we learned some stuff. It just goes to show you can't judge a boar by its pitting. Because it had some rough stuff in there, but it shot good. At the end of the day, that's all that really matters. So, and for our first group, that's my bore sight shots. That first shot was just me. I wasn't expecting the trigger to be so light. But then the next 2 shots, they were touching, and I mean, looking at, I think I measured 1/4 of an inch on those 2 shots. Okay, the second group, and this is where it gets really interesting. 3 shots, and if where all the paper's torn, if we pull this paper back and put it in place, that's what that hole looks like right there. All right, I can't measure that. I mean, near as I can tell, when I put calipers on it, I get the diameter of a bullet. Near as I can guess, that's 3 shots in the same hole. And that's only the second time in my life I've ever done that. It just so happens the first time I did that was also with a 308. Go figure. Except for the first time I did it, it was 5 shots in the same hole. But that's pretty good there. I was impressed with the rifle. I also know that was a lot of luck involved in getting that one too. All right, now the third group, okay, that's where I stopped at. And the reason I stopped is just I could not get a good sight picture with this scope. The crosshairs were so thick that they were just completely covering up my bullseye on these smaller diamonds. And that's fine. You don't have to be able to see the bullseye. But you have to be able to get a good sight picture. And our eyes are exceptionally good at seeing symmetry. And when something's not symmetrical, we can see it. And all I had to do was center up the crosshairs into diamonds, even if it's covering up the bullseye and I can't see it because crosshairs are too thick. But the targets were, you couldn't tell it there on video, but the target stand was leaning in a little bit. At the same time, the target wasn't on there perfectly level, and the makeshift bench I was shooting off of, it wasn't level where it was at. And it was just really difficult for me to get a good sight picture with the crosshairs in this scope and these diamonds. So this scope, or these crosshairs with these targets at that range, it just wasn't working for me. I just couldn't visually line everything up, or I could, but it was very difficult. All right, so that third shot group, I don't know if it was I was just off and lining things up, which I wasn't off that far, but I don't know if I pulled the shot. I don't know if it's just natural variation, or it looked like it was starting to string. So all of these shots were consistently going right. And this barrel is not free floated, and by that third shot it was starting to warm up. It wasn't hot, but it's warming up. All right, so where do we go from here? That's the question. That's where we're at now with the project. And I thought about swapping the scope out. All right, problem with that is what I said at the range. Not my rifle, not my scope. And this not working for me with this scope, this target, that range. I got to make a change somewhere. And I thought about just saying done right now, because this is sub MOA. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Even the 3-shot group with it, with that third shot there, it still measured 910 thousandths, I think it was. So yeah, definitely still sub MOA. Plus, all right, we just had cleaned this bore. I did not expect it to shoot that well just after having just cleaned it. It might open up more after we get some fouling through here just from shooting more rounds. That particular factory load it might have just shot like it did just because the bore was clean. I mean, there's just so many variables there. But with me not being sure about whether it was stringing or not, I don't want to give Stephen his rifle back and say, you know, that's right, when I don't know that it is. Okay, so I can't in good conscience just call it good right now. So I think what we're going to do, I think I'm going to change targets. Like I said, these crosshairs with this target at this range wasn't working for me, but these crosshairs with this target might. And that's one of the good things about a round bullseye. It don't matter if it's, you know, how it's lined up or whatever, it's round. And I should still get a really good, or possibly a much better sight picture with this. Now, a standard scope I normally use, I like these old diamonds. I like the red field targets. That's always been my favorite. We're going to try this with this rifle and go back to the range. And if we can keep shooting like it was, then yeah, we're definitely done. If it goes to stringing, and that's what we're going to be there for, is basically to see if it starts stringing once the barrel does heat up. All right, that's when we're going to start thinking bedding to action and free floating the barrel. And notice I just didn't jump into just bedding to action and free floating the barrel right off. I mean, I don't think it would hurt anything, but I've just always felt like you need to shoot a rifle and see what it's going to do before you go changing anything. And with this one, I mean, if it keeps shooting like that second group, why would I ever change anything on this rifle? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to head back to the range. I hope I can get by there sometime this week, one day after work, just to get that done and just see. And anyway, I'll post results of that whenever I can get by there. Just it's all in time and weathering. Y'all know how that is. But okay, but that's where we're going next. And I learned a lot from this one. And I love it when I work on a project and I learn some stuff. To see a bore this rough and to see it shoot like that was an eye-opening experience for me. All right, God bless, and y'all have a great day.